Welcome to the Profit Talks podcast, hosted by the Orange County Inland Empire SBDC Network, funded in part by the US Small Business Administration and the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. This show is the go-to resource for business owners seeking empowerment, education, and resources to succeed. Join us as we connect you with experts, share the triumphs of fellow entrepreneurs, and reveal the wealth of assistance available to you today to level up your business. So let's go. Let's dive in and learn more. Okay, you know that part we say wealth of assistance? Today we're going to talk about the wealth of assistance through an unusual special program today here. Welcome, if you will, the folks from TMC Community Capital. Did I get that correct?
Yes, you did.
Okay, you guys don't seem very convinced here.
You did great.
I did great. Okay. TMC Community Capital. First of all, neither of you look like capitalists. You don't look like bankers. You don't have bank suits on or whatever here. Whatever you're supposed to look like, you look like regular people from the community. Maybe that's good. We have with us Natalie Del Toro. Raise your hand. Which one's Natalie? Natalie Del Toro and Mayra Contreras of TMC Community Capital. Now, you are going to explain this to us, but you're a community development financial institution. What the heck is that? We'll start with Mayra because she's done more podcasts.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay.
Right. And we don't look like bankers because we're not a bank. Right?
Okay.
We're our CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution. We have, we're certified by the US Treasury to provide products and services to communities that have been historically excluded from your banking systems or your traditional lending systems.
We're going to talk a lot about that because you're reaching out to people that nobody wants to give money to. And you're doing microloans. What's a microloan? Anything under what? How little is a microloan? Or how big is a microloan?
We do loans from $5,000 to $50,000. That's the range that we cover.
Okay, so it's not $500. It's $1,000. It's $5,000 to $50,000. Mm-hmm. And who the heck are you giving this money to? This loan? And this is for what? How many years? Up to 5 years?
So we strictly do small business loans. So we lend to small businesses in the state of California that have been operating for at least a year.
So no startups. If I come to you and say, I got a great idea, can you give me some money? That's not you.
Not pre-revenue, right? We want to see at least 12 months in operation and generating revenue.
Okay. We'll go back to Natalie again here. Who are you giving the money to?
Like we were saying, so our target is to get to those small businesses that have a harder time accessing capital through traditional forms, and that will be more people who maybe are seen as creditworthy through banks or their financials. Maybe they don't have tax returns yet, and so we can be a little bit more flexible in both what documents that we collect and as well the credit, the time span that we focus on. So our target, really our mission as a nonprofit, is to provide capital to low-income, underserved, women-owned businesses. That is who we want to be providing this capital for. That's your sweet
spot. That's what you're looking for. Exactly. Low-income, underserved, women-owned businesses. All right. Are these like single moms? Hey, I'm trying to, make something for my kids and I. And so I've got this idea, I want to bake cookies and sell them, or I'm going to open up a dress shop, or I'm going to do something. Is it that kind of small business? Well, you say it can't be a startup, so she has to have already done it.
Right. Yeah. So it can be like a home-based business or a business that may be cash-heavy, businesses that are looking to expand, formalize, even businesses that have been in business for a long time. They just don't qualify through traditional lending. Like Natalie said, businesses that may be owned by, or business owner that's undocumented, right? So
really? So even somebody doesn't have the documents, they're here, whatever, they overstayed their visa, they came in, they're illegally here or whatever, but they've got a business, you can still fund people like that?
We can accept ITIN, so as long as they have a tax, they're filing taxes, we can accept their ITIN or social. So anybody can really apply for us. It doesn't matter their citizenship. Yeah, status.
Okay, so we're going to dive into this a little bit deeper here. Let's get the technical stuff out of the way. Here's what little I know about lending. I'm a small business, have been for a long time. I haven't gone out and sought lending, but it seems like that the only time you can get money is when you don't need it. When you're flush with cash, the business is going well, it's a success, you got it up and running. hey, it's easy to go to the bank and say, can I borrow some? Sure. It'll give you a personal guarantee, or you've got collateral in the business and or cash flow or something. Maybe you've got equipment, lots of things you can put up to borrow against. They feel comfortable lending to successful people. They feel less comfortable lending to people only been around for a year, a bit of a struggle. I don't have lots of tax returns. I don't own a house, on and on and on. So there have been historically other people lenders, hard money lenders, people that seek out people that need a short-term bridge loan to carry over something, or they need a short-term construction loan because you're going to rehab a house and then flip it or something. And they all have little specialty things, but they charge a lot higher interest rate. So do you guys charge a higher interest rate? A little bit, a lot, or the same?
So we do keep it affordable as a responsible lender, nonprofit. That's really, we're not trying to take advantage of the business or trying to go or need capital. So we have interest from 6 to 9% fixed, a little bit more than a bank, but still trying to help the business. And
not the same as Vinny down the street who wants
yeah, I can answer much hard.
Hey, I'll give you some money here. Really, but people get caught up in those kinds of things. I'm going to borrow from somebody, you're in trouble. You can't pay it back, or whatever, or bad things happen. So lots of other traditional, I've even heard of factoring, if you've got certain inventory or you've got uncollected invoices, then accounts and stuff. They'll loan, some people loaning it. Lots of creative ways if the bank turns you down. This is one I never hear about, micro loans. Are there lots of people doing this or just a few?
There's lots of CDFIs throughout the nation. There's lots of CDFIs.
And is this fairly new, or has this been around for 50 years? Or you tell me, what's the history of this thing? Was this part of some legislation to try and get more money into people that really could use it? Or is this just an idea that's developed over time here?
It's been a while. I mean, you can find there's CDFIs that have been around for, 50 years, 40 plus years. But there are a lot of fairly new CDFIs that are a little bit more specialized and just targeting certain communities.
Does
or
this
regions.
go back to a certain act that was passed by Congress or by the state or anything like that? When did this Treasury decide this is something they're going to fund? You don't know? You don't know the history of this?
It's a little bit more with like the CRA. That's the Community Reinvestment Act.
Right.
So for this one, this law was created.
I'm glad Natalie's here because she knows all these things.
I'm just turning around because I feel like I'm giving you my back.
That's okay. I'm off camera. I can't be on camera together. Just like we're
talking to the wall.
Like we're on a phone call or something. We're just talking.
Talking to the camera.
Talking to the camera. There you go. Talking to the camera. So I guess I'm just trying to say I don't think I've ever had any. We've been doing this for 15 years. We've never had anybody come in and talk about microloans ever. And lots of other creative loan things. That's why I know some of them. Right. I've never had any. This is mostly a business channel. Never had anybody come in and talk about microloans ever.
Yeah, and I guess that's also part of the issue, right? A lot of people don't know we exist, right?
Yeah. Right.
So like you said, it's easier for someone to go to Vinny down the street because Vinny has a storefront in their community and it's walkable, and Vinny probably has like flashy neon lights in their window.
Yeah, right.
Just sign here and we'll do it. And a lot of people like don't read what they're signing because they're like, I just need the money, and they don't realize,
We had a guy in here once. This is going to sound horrible, but he was Hispanic. He lent money to people to buy a home who couldn't otherwise qualify because of their immigration status or their income or didn't taxes or whatever the problem was. He would loan it to them. And it was sort of like they'd move in and they'd start to pay him to buy this house. And I said, well, this is a high-risk group. What if they don't pay? He said, I hate to say it. I sort of make out either way. If they don't pay, I just take the house back. And I got to go through eviction and other sorts of things. But I keep all that money. Whatever they gave me, I still keep. They failed. I get to keep it, and I start over, and I rent it, or I sell it to somebody 2-3 times until finally somebody does this. They've sort of built a business out of failure. Are you guys accepting the fact that most of these little micro loans, because they were so-called uncreditworthy people, are going to fail? Do most of your loans fail? You have a high rate of non-payment?
This may surprise you, Paul, but our repayment rate right now is 99%.
What?
So we have 99% repayment rate.
To people who otherwise nobody wanted to lend to. What does that say about the current lending system here then?
Right. So it sounds like the current lending system is trying to fit everyone into their credit lending box that's very traditional, and
Yeah.
it just shows, right, that not everyone fits into that box, and it doesn't mean that they're not that they're not.
Only thing I ever heard about microloans, I mentioned this off camera, was I read something years ago about somebody, this is really microloans, $500, $1,000 to poor people in like villages. I think it was India, might have been Africa. These are people living in dirt huts and whatnot, very impoverished, third world countries. And they want to buy a sewing machine, which costs $200, and they don't have it, because then maybe they can make a little extra income on the side or something, or make something mostly to start some kind of little business. Sewing machine stuck in my head. Simple things like that. A water pump or something to build a well or something. And nobody would give these people money. They have no credit, no history, nothing. And they said it meant so much to people. They would pay back like 99%. I mean, almost none of them defaulted, because this meant a lot to them. So that's the same thing with this group. Because they've been turned down, because nobody else will give them money, by God, they're going to make sure they pay this back come hell or high water here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're really trying to prove, be a little bit more flexible with how we, collect the documents that is needed, but as well, do credit, be a little bit more flexible, not trying to base our decision on solely one thing where it's like, if they don't meet this credit, we can't even take a look. If we can collect more information, ask questions, see what they're trying to get the money for, we can get a better understanding that they have their own belief, this is their dream, they're going to make it work, and they need this capital.
Does the story help? Do they have to tell you a good story? Do you have to really believe in these people?
Like we always say, it's always better for any person who comes to us and say, hey, I need money, and it's always going to maybe be a red flag if they're, not unsure of the exact amount that they need, or be prepared like with an exact breakdown. We obviously going to be, it shows them being prepared where I know that my business is going to grow in this format, and I need this exact amount to buy this, and this. So that shows us, that there's a story behind that. This is how they're trying to grow. This is exactly how they believe maybe in a year span or next month, or maybe like the holiday season. That's something that we're seeing a lot. They're trying to prepare that
I see. So they see an opportunity and they need a little cash to make it happen. Okay. I think I understand. You're a nonprofit, right, Mayra? You guys don't,
That's right.
This is some sort of institute. Again, give me some idea. Are you one of hundreds, dozens, a couple here in Orange County? I've never heard of you before. So are there lots of you, or just a few of you here in the county?
Oh gosh, I met with the state last week, and the gentleman was telling me that there's like about 700 CDFIs
in Orange County?
in California.
Oh, in California. Okay. Wow. So there must be a bunch of them, and somehow you're all staying under the radar. We don't know about any of you here.
It's because even if there's a lot of CDFIs, they each, like Mayra was saying, have a different space. Some actually are for small business. Other ones are for real estate, where they only provide for homes. Each has a different target, and because of that, it probably creates a lot more
So I'm a guy. Can I still come to you guys because your target's women?
So we don't target just women-owned businesses, but that's one example. So we're not open to just being low income, not just being underserved. We serve honestly any small business in the state of California that's our only requirement. Be in California and have at least 1 year in operation.
But you're both women. You want to help other women here. Are there how many people work for this group? Are there hundreds of you, or just the two of you, or dozens of you? Is this big or little?
Just the two of us.
Working out of her house.
Working out of our garage.
Yeah.
No, we're a small team, small and mighty. There's 10 of us. We're covering the state.
The whole state.
We're covering the state, yeah. Right. So we have an office in Oakland, an office in LA, but we do have a statewide presence.
And what are the roles? Give us your two roles here. What do you both do for them? We'll start with Mayra since she's talking here.
Yeah, so I'm the director of partnerships, working closely with community partners, other banks.
And what does that mean? So somehow you develop relationship. What's a typical partner for you? Yeah. Somebody that refers you clients.
Yeah, the SBDC is one of our partners.
We have the Finance Center here at UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center. We're going to take you down and reintroduce you to the people down there.
Yeah, so we work closely with SBDCs. As you know, they have a national presence, but we work closely with them in the state. And like you said, they work one-on-one with small business owners when a business is ready for capital, ready for financing. The advisors are pretty well versed on our products and services. And if they think the client's a good fit, they refer them over to us.
Would they start at a bank? Would I don't know what the SBDC consultants do, but would they all say, well, let's go to your bank? No, you got turned down, then let's look at alternatives. Or would they just start with somebody like you? Don't go to the bank. That's a good option. It's only a point or two more, maybe.
The finance team is pretty well versed on financial products. So we
had Craig Russum in here.
Oh, yeah, great. He's an expert, right? So he knows, right? I'm sure he has questions he'll ask the client, like, what's your credit score? How much are you requesting?
Let me see your profit and loss
financials, right?
Yeah.
Revenue, your profit, things like that. And then depending where the client is, with this credit, this business financials, then I'm sure Craig will send them to the right lender.
So, Natalie, are these sophisticated borrowers or unsophisticated borrowers? They've got some kind of business. They're making some sort of money, but that doesn't mean they have real profit and loss statements or accountants or their taxes are all done. I mean, there are a lot of people who are in business and their financials are a mess. That's what Craig said.
Yeah, and that's probably like another way that we work with SBDC centers, where we have certain, we work with both, I would say, sophisticated and unsophisticated. So if a client comes to me and says, hey, I actually don't have a profit and loss statement or I don't really even know what that is where we would probably work back with the SBDC center and say, okay, well, I think as a first step, you should actually first be working with a TA, business counselor. So that's also where we can work with them, refer them to an SBDC center that is local to them, so they can then, once they're ready with that document, or even like formalizing their business, come back to us.
Right. It's just, I've been doing this and I don't even have, it's just me. So maybe I've never really thought of put it into maybe it should be a LLC or a corporation or something here. All right. So you're taking people that nobody else will look at and you're looking at them and maybe loaning out money. How much money you got, Mayra? Come on, tell us. You got millions, you got thousands. What do you got in the bank? How much did the Treasury send you in the boxes?
How much do you want?
How much you want? How much you? No, you tell me how much you got. Then I'll tell you how much I want.
That's not how it works, Paul. By the time you get to us, you should know how much you need. And
don't just walk in and say, funds. What can I get? Can I get 1,000? Can I get 50,000?
As much as I can get. That's
right.
Yeah, it's not a good look, Paul. I think you need to prepare, which is why you need to work closely with your SBDC consultant.
Not a good look. Too many people have said that about too many things in my life. That's not a good look, Paul. I don't know if you should be wearing that. I don't know if you should be saying that. That's not a good look. All right. I've heard that before. I'm going to start thinking about that. All right. So, but people come in, they may or may not be sophisticated, but they got to have some idea what they want and some plan of how they're going to do it and some story that they're going to do it. Before you tell me some great stories, I want to hear your stories. I'm going to start with Mayra first here, because she was when I told her, she made a face like, I got to tell my story here. I want to hear your story, how you got into this, because you don't look like a banker or a micro loaner or whatever you call yourself here.
I actually have about over 8 years in this micro lending.
You guys look like
space.
Influencers. You both look like that, so you should be on TikTok influencing something.
This is our debut.
We're starting a new career here.
Yeah, so you guaranteed that this is going to go viral.
Absolutely.
So I'm just
absolutely.
Gosh,
how did you get into this?
Right, yeah. So I was working.
You were working for Vinny. No.
I was like, Vinny, this is not right.
We could do better than this, Vinny. We don't have to break their legs union. Just because I don't pay them back. Right.
Yeah, I was working for a credit union for a bit, and I found myself educating and helping my clients through the credit system and the banking systems. And then from there, I started offering financial literacy for a nonprofit. I'm
going to bring my own daughter into here someday and ask her what she really knows about loans and credit scores and all sorts of stuff. And, she went to school. She was raised here in Orange County. I don't think she's that financial. I'm not saying I shouldn't say this about her, but I don't think she didn't take any classes at school about this. I've tried to verse her a little bit, but she's like a lot of people that she doesn't have a deep knowledge of financial systems. Only when she has to go do something, suddenly she's got to figure out, I need this and I need this.
And also working for other lenders, right? I found myself in a situation where I just saw unfair practices, unfair lending practices.
Meaning what? They turn people away?
They turn people away that I felt were unfair, right? Yeah. And it could have been because of their title, some credit issues in the past, the color of their skin, things like that. So I've been in the middle of that, and I've seen it, and I was like, this can't be right.
Got to be a better way.
Yeah, there's got to be a better way.
And so how did you find this group? How did you find it? So in an ad, or just they came to you and knocked on the door in the middle of the night and said, "Hey, come here."
Yeah, so
it seems like a big secret.
Yeah, it seems like. So at that time when I was giving courses in community spaces, programming was like a savings program that another CDFI was offering at the time. So I had a really good relationship with them. And then when they're hiring, they're like, Mayra, are you interested? Want to come over?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been in this space for over 8 years. Wow. Working closely with small business owners, partners, and advocating for lending. All
right, Natalie, your turn. How the heck did you get into this thing here?
Yeah, so I think with TMC, I have a little bit over a year now. My background, really, as I graduated college, my entire mission is to be able to use my skills and to some way give back to my community. So
what was your major in college?
Geography.
Geography. Oh, that definitely helped you.
Yeah, and it wasn't...
Geography. I didn't know they had that as a major anymore.
It was social geography. So I was really captivated by the way that people are affected by their environment, not even more so physical, but just socially, how the space that they grow up in, affects
determines
them. Yeah.
I'll give you an interesting example. I know we're going to run a few minutes over here, but I volunteered once at a school in Santa Ana. I don't know how I got into this thing or something. And they went down, they said, we need some mentors, we need some help. And they said, most of these kids will never travel more than 5 miles from this location. They won't go to the beach. They won't go to LA. They won't go to this is their whole world. And many immigrant communities, I guess, are like that. They don't venture very far. So the social area they grow determines their worldview.
Exactly. So when I graduated, I just did different positions really that helped communities, whether it was like politically or also economically. So when I first got into the economic space, I started with a fintech company whose entire mission was really to create. So a lot of our communities are also underbanked. That's another issue. So their mission was to help create these free bank accounts.
We had the chairman of Farmers and Merchants in here on the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce show, and he said that's one of the reasons they're a community bank. They're very 100 years in the community here in Southern California. They started opening locations in Santa Ana. They came from Long Beach originally because they saw it was an underbanked area.
Yeah. From underbanked, I got into this position. A fellow worker was also in this, and they pulled me over. And being here, really, I had no familiarity with small businesses, that space overall. But as time went on, I learned every day. And I think I'm kind of with you in that financial literacy. There was I probably wasn't growing up. It was where financial anything really scares me, just because I don't really.
They give credit cards to college kids, and they don't know what to do with them. They get in trouble.
But I think now I would like to say I'm in a better place, and I've learned a lot more about small businesses through their stories, the situations there, what they're looking for, and every day I feel like I pick on something different.
Okay, why don't you each just give me one good story? We'll start with Mayra here. Give me one good story that you've seen in the 8 or 10 years. You must have seen lots of touching stories. Really, I would think.
Oh, yeah. Lots of clients that still keep in touch. And
give me one that you... If I just, off the top of your head, give me one. Give me a good one.
Yeah. One of our clients who started a home-based business, she was selling Jell-O to her coworkers.
Selling Jell-O?
Yeah, desserts. Specifically Jell-O. I know, it's a thing. So to her coworkers, and then got pretty popular. She was hired on to do events, right? Like weddings and parties and things like that. So to supply them with the desserts. She got so much interest within the community that, their own community was like, Angelina, how are you making these desserts?
Right.
So she opened up her home and started having workshops decoration.
Workshops
on making desserts, and mostly on decorating the desserts. So
did she have any business background? Was she poor? Was she successful? I mean, was she just an average person? But
I'd say she's an average person. immigrant from Mexico. I know she said that she's always had a passion for baking and making desserts, but never thought this could be a business, right? I mean, she had a regular job and then just started doing this on the side. And then her business grew. There was interest. It wasn't really a business yet. So she saw a need for the supplies, right? So the dessert supplies. So anything around pastry and decoration. She starts selling them to the woman that she was hosting the workshop, that she was giving the workshops to.
Right.
She got so popular and busy that she had to move from her small home or apartment into like an actual house to host larger groups. And then from there, she's just like, you know what? I need to open up a storefront.
And she came to you and got a small
She came
loan?
to us, yeah. And she came to us during the pandemic. Everyone was at home baking and making desserts.
A lot of
well,
that
not everyone, but I can tell you I was. So she started.
Did you take one of her workshops? No, probably not.
No, but I would love to. I think it'd be a nice thing to do with the team. Yeah, she's now looking to expand her location, her retail spot, and make it, to host more larger groups.
So you launched her into a real business, pretty much.
Right, yeah. So now she does this full time and is looking to expand into a bigger space to host larger groups.
All right, Natalie, top that one.
That's honestly probably, one of the, and then I think another one very similar. A lot of the businesses that we serve are, like Mayra was saying, maybe unformalized or maybe like street vendors, but there's also businesses that have been operating.
There you go. Right, they got a cart or something. They've been selling for a while.
And so there's one business that we helped, I would say like last year or so. They started selling tamales out like San Francisco area, and they saw a lot of business growing just with that, selling that item. So they came to us and they wanted to get a loan to move into a space because they were seeing success. And so they moved into Swan's Market out in the Oakland area, and they were able to grow really much. I think I've eaten there like twice and it was so delicious. So now they're like selling like tacos, different items, and they actually came back to us all through that time so they can get another loan. They were actually looking for way larger than that we could do. Like they were now trying to get like 100 or so because they wanted to get a second
from
location.
A street vendor to now they want $100,000 here. They have a business that warrants that. They can see the growth. That's a pretty impressive growth.
So that's why we don't really necessarily think of us as like, oh, just get money to we're just like a milestone or stepping stone into like, oh, we'll help you to like maybe make the first step to expand your business. And from there, if you want to go to an SBA loan or maybe another just larger loan than $50,000, that's what we were trying to like catapult you to do with your business.
Okay, there you go. All right, I got to think of something. I need a microloan for something here. I got to come up with something good, something I'm going to cook or bake or whatever. I think it's a phenomenal service. How do they find you? Can they just come to you directly, or do they have to go through somebody like an SBDC or some other referral partner? Can I just
like nodding yes to everything you're saying?
Can I just come in, or do I have to know somebody the secret handshake to get in the door here?
I cover SoCal, so if you are out in SoCal, you can give me a call to see if you are the right fit for us to apply.
Did we come up with your title? We know what she is.
No, skip me. It's okay.
What do you do?
I am the Community Development Officer, so I cover from Bakersfield down to like San Diego. That is
okay. All right. One works on partnerships, one works on developing the community.
Yeah. So I help Mayra with partnerships, but also I talk with clients, so anybody who's interested in applying with us, have any questions, I can either one, help them to start an application with us or refer them to a partner that can either one, prepare them with like those financial that they need, or two, might be a better fit for another reason if maybe they're trying to get more capital than we can provide or they're a startup.
Okay. All right. And so give us a website, a phone number. How do they reach out to you today if those listening want to learn more?
So you can reach me at my number if you'd like, 213-394-6676.
She's giving out her phone number? Okay. Wow. This is
our work phone number, yes.
Is there an office that they can go to somewhere, or is this all just done virtually, or you're all over the state? I mean, is there someplace I can drive into and knock on the door and somebody say,
You don't have to go into an office nowadays, right?
I know, yeah. It's a crazy world. I don't know where anybody is.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll give you our our website. It's tmccommunitycapital.org.
TMC. What is it? Anything? Why that stands for that? Or you just threw 3 letters on the board. Said that sounds good. tmccommunitycapital.org. You can also call Natalie. If you are in Northern California, we can connect you to Christian, who is our community development community development officer in NorCal. And if they want to build a partnership with Mayra, they want to start referring people. How do they reach you?
Yeah, so they can also email me at myra@tmccommunity.org.
Spell Mayra. I never saw it spelled this way here before.
Mayra.
Mayra. Okay, Mayra Contreras, TMC Community Capital, and her compatriot, I was going to say partner in crime, but that sounds terrible. You're lending money here. I can't call you a partner in crime. It's a crime that more people don't know about. That's the crime.
Right.
Natalie Del Toro, Community Development. Is that the title?
Officer, yeah.
Officer. Okay, officer. Yes, sir. All right. All right. Well, I don't know why you are such a big secret. I hope we will take some of the secrecy away. I hope we'll get you back on other shows here. You should definitely come in the Hispanic Chamber show and some other ones here, because there's a lot of people out looking for help and believe that with a little bit of money, they could take this thing to the next level. It takes money to make money. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, banks are harder than ever. I'm here every day to get money from here. So there are lots of good people that are getting turned down that we could do a lot of good with. And it sounds like that's where you come into play here. All right. Thank you so much for sharing it. Give us a phone number one more time. People are scrambling to write something down here. They say, just say it one more time.
213-394-6676.
Okay. Find out. Go ahead.
And if you're not sure, right, you don't know where to start, you don't know how much you need, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Contact the SBDC. They offer different services, and they're a great partner of ours. So
well, thank you for the plug. This is sponsored by the SBDC, so we like that plug here. Right?
Plug.
Okay. Well, good. So there are resources out there to help you find what you need. It isn't just a world. That's too often, I think, that we think, only the wealthy, only the really successful can have access to capital. The rest of us have to struggle. Not true. Lots of programs, grants, other sorts of things, a wide variety of things out there today. Start with the SBDC or call these folks up and start a conversation. Thank you for coming in, you guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for having us.
As we conclude another episode of the Profit Talks podcast, we hope we've empowered your entrepreneurial spirit. Reach out to us to connect with our experts, and let's take your business to the next level. Keep those dreams alive, keep pushing forward, and stay tuned for more. And if you liked what you heard in today's podcast and you want your business to reach new heights, just contact us at profittalkspodcast.org or call us at 1-800-616-7232. That's 1-800-616-7232. So until next time, keep thriving.